Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to be talking about what happens when a space marine gets too much power of a planet. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it's true for the demigods of the Adeptus Astartes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions or would like us to cover a certain topic, let me know what it is in the comment section below. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us too. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Constantinus Iconoclasm. The Constantinus Iconoclasm was a rebellion led by former Sergeant Constantinus of the 4th Company of the Sons of Guilliman Space Marine Chapter, which had been charged with freeing the world of Nova Terra, located within the Segmentum Pacificus, from a Tyranid attack by the remnants of High Fleet Leviathan. He was part of a handful of Astarte units left behind on the planet to combat any resurgent Tyranid organisms that had survived the war, and to monitor the populace for signs of gene stealers or any other Tyranid infiltration or infection. For 3 standard years, Sergeant Constantinus led his squad on endless patrols through the cave systems of the planet's volcanic plateau, where the Tyranids had made their original planetfall, cleansing nesting broods with flamers and chainswords, not one seeking any type of reward. However, when rumors led Constantinus to a possible genestealer infection in the Novan Terran capital city of Syrtis, he found a growing genestealer cult that had spread throughout the city's ruling aristocracy. As righteous as ever, Constantinus and his squad hunted down the infected nobles and their families and swiftly ended the threat. Far from being grateful, the people of Syrtis were enraged by the summary execution of their leaders and rose up in revolt. 24 battle brothers of the 4th Company of the Sons of Guilliman had sacrificed themselves for this world, only for those who had remained behind to battle the Tyranid threat, unremembered and unrewarded, to now have to suffer this final dishonor. That had been the final disgrace, the final slight that had pushed Sergeant Constantinus beyond the brink. It was more than any mortal man or immortal Adeptus Astartes should ever had to endure. If the scum of the city wanted a rebellion, and to see their world burn, Constantinus would light the fire for them. There were those who had already sworn themselves to the sergeant, having seen what Constantinus and his brethren had created within the city sectors, including Imperial guardsmen who had seen their fellow soldiers die to save the planet from the Tyranids, the looters, and the rioters. They were former servants of the Ecclesiarchy and members of the Adeptus Arbitus station on the world. They appreciated what the sergeant and his men had done, and what they were forced to do and why. They willingly followed Constantinus, and even went so far as to call him the Liberator. Constantinus led his squad on search and destroy missions throughout the city, destroying entire hab blocks. Soon the city was ablaze, and the fume-choked avenues were awash with blood and rioting mobs, and the palaces of the nobles were nothing more than charred ruins. Constantinus eventually turned upon those within his own squad who tried to stop him from carrying out the massacre and cut them down. He then declared himself the new ruler of the planet, decrying the Emperor of Mankind and his minions, claiming that his own chapter had turned him into a murderous monster, and swore that he would lead the people of the planet to freedom and a better future outside of the Imperium. This conviction proved to be infectious. The old order on the world was thrown down, and the emblems of the Imperium destroyed and defaced, while statues of Constantinus the Liberator were raised in his place. Once the city was taken, the revolt spread from city to city, until finally the Liberator stormed the mansion of the world's Imperial commander at the head of an army nearly 3 million strong. Constantinus beheaded the Imperial commander and declared the planet free of the Emperor's iron grip. The renegade Astarte sergeant renamed the world Constantinium, and under his rule, the mobs were given free reign. Constantinus plunged this newly conquered world into an age of darkness as bloodthirsty crowds bayed in the streets, and sacrifices were soon made to the ruinous powers. Called by their dark gods, dozens of Chaos Space Marine warbands traveled to the planet to join the renegades. Constantinus fought the best champions of Chaos and defeated them, claiming their warbands for himself. He then embarked on a terrifying conquest of other planets in the neighboring star systems, and within a solar decade, the rebel sergeant's megalomania escalated until it plunged the whole sector into an open civil war. Eventually, Imperial forces, including the Iron Knights chapter, arrived to reclaim the world for the Imperium. During one notable incident of the conflict, the Night Reapers chapter was assigned to defend the shrine world of Salvation Gamma. But when confronted by a massive counterattack led by dozens of Chaos warbands drawn from the Iconoclasm Revolt, These forces included the Iconoclasts, who were made up of the former Sons of Guilliman Space Marines who willingly followed their brother into damnation and later served as their personal bodyguards and helped shape the conquered sector into a nightmarish vision for their mad Chaos Lord. And then there were the Zealots, who were a mass of so-called liberated humans who fought in the Liberator's name and were charged with the defense of the Chaos Lord's realm. They made the Imperial invaders pay for every meter of ground gained in blood, alongside an unknown number of degenerate mutant hordes from the edgeworlds of the sector. And finally, the majority were the Enlightened, who were those who witnessed firsthand the fate of those who challenged the Liberator's domain and chose to side with the Chaos Lord, rising to become his most important and useful servants. The Night Reapers abandoned the Shrine World, claiming it was indefensible and of negligible strategic worth. Rather than allowing the world to fall, the Night Reapers turned their own weapons of the Basilica cities and granted the pilgrims and refugees who sought harbor there a merciful end. If you would like to know the results of this action, check out our 40 Facts on the Night Reapers chapter. And the war that followed raged for 13 standard years, only ending with the death of Constantinus at the hands of an Officio Sicinorum assassin. Even 300 standard years later, pockets of rebels continued to still hold out in the volcanic plateaus of the world, having made their lairs within the labyrinthian lava tunnels found within the region. It was from these hidden cave systems that the rebels continued to carry out their guerrilla raids against the Emperor's fearing folk of Nova Terra. It was within these haunted caverns that they continued to make sacrifices to their blasphemous gods in the name of Constantinus the Liberator, a name that would forever be a stain upon the reputation of the noble Sons of Guilliman. Eventually, in the late 41st millennium, the Constantinus iconoclasm ended, and Constantinium was liberated from the forces of chaos. The world was renamed and restored as Nova Terra. And those were 40 facts in the Constantinus iconoclasm. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it goes to show you that the corruption of chaos does not happen overnight. It was a process. In this situation, Constantinus was not, or I highly doubt that Constantinus' intention was to turn into a worshipper of chaos. It is something that happened gradually. I don't even think it happened when he was attacking the Imperial citizens. I think that was pure rage. He was just being a Space Marine. You have to remember that most Space Marines, they are demigods, and they see humanity as pesky, living things that the Emperor told them to protect. But at the end of the day, there is sorrow in the fact that they are risking their lives and the lives of their battle brothers just so that these, pesky humans who, in his situation, started attacking him, can continue to live. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have suggestions for any other topics, also comment down below. Let me know what those topics are, and I'll try to create a video for you. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, I did the